Welcome to Sober Shenanigans. Real talk and real recovery, sharing stories, old and new, trying to stay on the right path and help others just like you. So feel our flow and get on with the show. Here's your hosts, Stoff and Primo. Welcome to Sober Shenanigans, real talk and real recovery. We're just two garden variety alcoholics trying to get better one day at a time. Inviting all of you to join us to let you know that you are not alone. There are groups and gangs out there that we can help you. Come join us to let you know that this is a group recovery type of deal and the programs are here for you. I am once again your boy Stoff, and with me as usual is my main man, 100 Grand Primo. What's up, Primo?
Dude, did you just mess up on the intro? Did you say Grangs?
I said Grangs.
I love that, dude.
Yeah.
I don't think you've ever messed up.
That's how you know it's off the top, you know?
Real talk and real recovery.
That's right. That's right.
No messing around.
We ought not be perfect. We ought not be organized.
Dude, I know. I am painfully flawed as a human being. And I'm trying to figure out what I do well anymore. It's the older you get, the less.
The fewer things you do well.
Yeah, I'm starting to put the crotch in crotchety. You know what I mean? That's what I get to look forward to in my old age. But I'm trying to age gracefully. You know, being old is consider the alternatives.
It's not for the meek.
No.
You know, life does not get easier as you get older. Hopefully we get smarter and learn how to deal with it better.
There you
guys
nice.
You can see now.
There you guys are. You know, what's interesting, Father Time is undefeated, 100%.
Yeah.
So I am going to give him the bird and just keep flying.
I like it.
Yeah.
Speaking of Father Time, our guest today is much younger than us, so he does not have our aches and pains, I wouldn't think yet. Today we have Adam from Palm Beach, most specifically Jupiter, Florida. Adam, how you doing today, buddy?
Doing very well. It's a pleasure to be here.
Oh, it's great to have you. Mm-hmm. You come well recommended from Primo himself. They said you guys are old friends from those good Tampa meetings.
Oh, yes, sir.
Yes, sir. He was once my sponsor.
Yes.
Nice.
we may or may not get into that.
Oh, I think we may.
It's possible.
we may.
I think we should. I mean, that's a relevant story, but you know. So we're bringing you into the show, Adam. Why don't you just give us a little background on yourself? If you want to start with your sobriety date, you can. A little bit of background, maybe about your younger days, or whatever you'd like to start with.
Yeah, just shoot from the hip.
Just shoot from the hip.
So start with the stats. We have March 7th of 2017. My name's Adam, and I'm an alcoholic.
Nice.
Bam.
Nice.
I have a sponsor. I sponsor others. My home group is where you can find me. Is Sunday Night Speaker. It's at Club Yana at 7:30. Great group. We've grown from a small group that was kind of COVID had knocked it out at one point to a growing group with the room is packed now. So if I get into the story here, it's kind of details of my younger years. I was clueless, full of energy, and I was just... it was a ball of energy growing up. So started drinking young, 8 years old or so. 3rd grade was my first introduction.
That's young.
Yeah. So I took a lot of pride in that, you know, through my years as the one that would start my friends in it. And
oh, yeah.
So it was one of those things where I was advanced way past my age group. And I'm going to go real rapid shooting because it's like...
Was that because you had older brothers or sisters or someone who got you into it a little bit?
I do. I have an older sister.
Okay.
I remove her. I would have drank
anyway,
no matter what. Yeah.
Right.
So I remove that kind of from any blame pointing in any direction.
Right, I'm not saying blame.
Yeah.
Usually you're exposed to it. Primo started early as well because he had older brothers that kind of, you know.
Yeah, an older sister, and then that proceeded into like going to keg parties at the Orange Groves, you know, doing keg stands as the youngin, entertaining the older bunch. So that was kind of like, brought me up until 6th grade. And then I want to say the bug hit me where I could not use around 6th grade or 7th grade. I always had, it was easier to obtain drugs at that point. I smoked a lot of pot, and there was other stuff involved, going to the gas station, waiting for somebody that looked cool to go buy us cigarettes and maybe booze. That was my option back then, or get a friend to do it. But drugs were always accessible at that age. So that's kind of how it started. And then 6th and 7th grade, like, I always had it. Always had it on it. I brought it to school. I had hiding spots on my person that brought it to school. Smoke before, smoke after, smoke all the time. And
how does a 7th grader cop weed?
It's not hard.
Yeah, it's all over.
It's everywhere.
It's everywhere.
Yeah, like I didn't start till almost out of high school. So to me, this is, of course, I forgot you were an 8-year-old doing it too. So, okay, go ahead.
To kind of build on that, it was like the area that I grew up in, it was all acceptable. You know, it was like everybody did it. It was a party, if you want to say like a party touristy area, in a way. So it was all acceptable. And so, I mean, we just fast forward 6th, 7th grade, legal issues started, petty stuff. And there was a lot of throwing me to trying to help me. There was a lot of help that was being provided that I would lie all throughout it. Medically, therapists, you know, I could go through a long list of wilderness programs. The end stage was started hospitals and psych wards. And that is a countless number. To this day, like I have been through many different programs, from state funded to private, and but so there's a lot of stories there. I don't necessarily like getting into war stories, because it's like that was a sense of pride. I had like this institution mentality where it was like I knew what to do. I knew how to get in it, and that's what you did. You chopped up, you know, at the cigarette, the ashtray, and you told war stories of all your wonderful things you did while you were drinking and drugging.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, that explains, like, I mean, alternative schools. I was never in school longer than probably 6 months. So I just started jumping from alternative schools, and that explains all of my school life.
Yeah.
You know, like
always on the move.
All my adolescence was always just living like with no care in the world, you know? So that ended with going to a juvenile detention center between my junior and senior year. So that was kind of like an eye-opening experience as a lifestyle that I did not want to lead. I think because of the people that tried to help me early on, that I had medical diagnoses that today, you know, I can say today that I do not have any of these diagnoses, but it was like it was just what it was. It was like I'm going into a doctor and they're seeing, let's say, bipolar tendencies, but they're not realizing I'm taking cocaine and other stuff along with it. So those drugs highly mimic, like, he can't sleep at night, like, no shit, you know, like, it's like, he stays up for 24 hours. I wonder what's wrong with a guy, you know, like, there's a big explanation that I'm not telling anybody. So, so by the time I'm like medically sedated with all these drugs that I was actively using, were no longer in the picture, and I'm like on these doses, the dosage that I was on, I get into the juvenile system, and I'm high. I'm still actively high, just with my scripts. And so I say that because I entered into a very dangerous part of my life when I got out of jail. I had learned some very bad coping skills. Like I was disassociated from life. I explained it today as like I had like catatonic type of tendencies where I was out of it. No reality, no sense of reality, out of touch with life in general. And my parents saw it. I didn't see it. I was clueless at that point. I think it was just like, there's got to be something wrong with this kid. The drugs and alcohol can't be the only thing, you know? And so that kind of goes through adolescence. Then we go to like my white light moment, where I can kind of define it as like the frothy emotional appeal. I got off all the medications by the time I was like 21 years old, and I was out of my mind. I was still out of my mind. But I was still actively using. And then there was this point where long stints of stimulant use and multiple other things. There was drugs on the table, and I walked away from it. There was this massive shift in perspective. And I also, AA was involved since I was 14. So, like, I had been in AA. I had tried spiritual programs. Et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So I knew drugs and alcohol were a problem, and I just didn't know. Like, it was this big shift of like, I knew they were a problem, but I didn't know the solution to it. And the white light happened. I chased God for a little bit, and ultimately I wasn't feeding the alcoholism. I wasn't feeding the absolute imperative need that I had to help others with the same issue. I think that's where ultimately the light clicked on for me. So, like, fast forward through 21 to 28 when I got sober, there was a lot of bouncing around, primarily sober, never completing the steps. If I did complete the steps, I wouldn't rework the steps, where today I see as the steps for me today are a big picture, like all encompassing. I have to do every step every day, kind of deal. That's like that's how I see it today. Like, I can practice all the principles in all my affairs on a regular basis. And so that was the shift. By time 28 rolls around, I had gotten a career that I didn't want to flush down the toilet. And it was just that shift. I had moved away from where I grew up, which was Jupiter. And it was like, I went from what I knew what I was before, which was this out of touch, insane person. And anytime I do it, I go right back to that person. Like, it's an immediate night and day, Jekyll and Hyde type of scenario. And, I would death grip sobriety until that moment where it was like, I didn't even think this was going to work. It was like, I'm just going to give it another try. I'm going to go into the rooms. I'd been around long enough where it was like I had seen evidence of people that I knew all throughout my life that got sober, and I saw stay sober.
So wait a minute, how old were you when you were exposed for the first time to this program?
To the 13, 14.
14, he said, yeah.
Yeah.
So it must have been mandated.
Alateen?
Not Alateen, no. I went, yeah. I went, it was
wow.
AA for the first time.
But Alateen did exist, you just didn't go there.
Yeah.
Wow, but you qualified.
I qualified.
That's
and at that point in my life, I didn't even see it.
No,
there was nothing that I could have seen at that point. It was a joke. I went there, touch a little bit on like that backstory, like institutions. Sure. The pill mills were a big thing, and then the pill mills turned into the halfway house bulge.
No, I was vibing with the psych wards too a little bit.
Yeah.
I got that whole.
I know
that journey of it's an interesting little stop on the way to recovery.
Yeah,
it's you never forget it.
Good
when
rock
you get
bottom.
when you get their styrofoam shoes, Greg, and they have little smiley faces on them, and you notice them because they're putting you on Thorazine, okay? Because you're right. Mm-hmm. And you notice them because the only thing you look at is the floor while you're walking around because they're heavily sedated.
Wow.
So that they don't have to they probably shoot you with a trank gun to my crazy ass and probably your crazy ass too.
I think you really make it when you hit the acute unit, right?
Which one?
The acute unit. When it's the side unit of the actual psych ward.
Yeah, you're in the you're in like the bad part of
You're
it.
like
yeah,
the special area.
Okay, yeah. Like
The people that like are
there's no arts and crafts over there. No.
Do not give them anything
no.
that could mimic sharp. Yeah. So yeah.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but
Yeah,
you're
so
good.
you're saying from 21 to 28, you're bouncing around, you're trying to find your way.
Yeah, and it was primarily sober. I would walk into meetings, but 28 was the real shift. It was the moment where I just showed up to AA. I got a sponsor pretty rapidly. That I knew this person. He had less time than me, and then I relapsed, and then I asked him to be my sponsor when I came back in because it was one of the only numbers I had, and I kind of kept in touch with him. So I was like, hey, you'd been through the steps. I need a sponsor.
Yeah.
So I think he had 6 months, and I was a day sober. And he walked me through the steps. Like, it was simple. It was another alcoholic helping another, and it wasn't like he was talking down to me. It wasn't like it was this big guru type of guy that was like, this is how you do it. It was like, no, like this is what I do, and we're gonna read the book together, and I kept on doing it. I kept on just showing up. I kept on doing the meetings. And I wanted to drink for 3 years in my first sobriety. I was quite miserable for a long time, but I just kept on showing up. I kept on doing it, and then day after day, I still say that after medallions, I get pretty emotional because it's like I relate to the fact that this is a gift. I am I'm only a day sober type of mentality,
Right.
And I think there's like it just keeps my ego in check. I don't want recognition because, like, I like to say this. It's like I just hit the average mark by getting sober. I just hit the. It's like I'm with the world now.
Right.
Like the rest of the world does not have this problem where it's like, wow, like you'll destroy your life if you drink. No, like okay.
Now you got normal people problems.
Yeah.
Like. Yeah, I get that.
Yeah.
John Q. Public. That's all you are.
Yeah, and it's like I don't have a badge for being sober, and because that was what I kind of did in my past. Was it's like, okay, I'm sober, and now I need to know. I need to have everybody know that I'm sober. Like, look how good I'm doing, and prove myself, and then, but that's where kind of like around the time I got sober this time, it was like, dude, like just shut up, just keep quiet, like do what you got to do. And please, God, keep me sober. There was a lot of that early on. Please just give me another day sober.
How long before you moved to Tampa?
So I got sober in New Orleans. I moved to Jacksonville.
That's right.
Yeah, I spent 2 years in New Orleans.
You got sober in New Orleans,
Yes.
like the biggest party city of the South,
Yes.
just to make it hard on yourself, or
No,
How did you go there? How did you end up there?
I ended up there by that career that I had spoke of.
Okay.
So I was looking for an escape out of my hometown kind of deal.
Jupiter.
Yeah. There was just too many memories there. Yeah, it was time. It was time. Burned enough bridges to where it's like it's not a geographic change, but it was needed. There was just too much weight there. And that happened when I go back to Palm Beach in my early sobriety, it was the same feeling. Like I just it was just a weight of that area that I pretty much burned down. Distractions.
New Orleans and then Jacksonville.
So yeah, New Orleans to Jacksonville, and I did the same thing in all those moves. I kept a newcomer mentality. I did the 90 and 90 immediately. Got a sponsor in the local area, and the important part for me was like I couldn't expect everybody in this area to know who I was because it's like there is a comfort to be going to meetings for a long enough time where you can high five. You get into that social group, you get into the groove, and I had to adapt to the local customs and traditions of that area. Like I have witnessed that like New Orleans had a very unique way of doing it. Jacksonville had a very unique way of doing it. Tampa, they're unique. You know, there's certain, I just say as customs and traditions, you know, that are, you know, they have their own thing, you know? So it's like, I had to just kind of, I just had to dumb it down and just, I'm a newcomer. I don't know what I'm doing. And like, just enter into it as a, you know, like
it's probably a really healthy way to do it instead of walking in like a know-it-all because you've done it a year or two in this other place. And, hey, here's how we do it in New Orleans. You're doing it wrong in Jacksonville. But going in quiet, like a newcomer, 90s and 90s, that seems like a really smart way to go about it.
You know what's funny? As I was thinking that just today, exactly, that, because I've been over here a couple of years now, that I was thinking, man, those meetings in Tampa are kind of fucked up. You know what I mean? No, they're not. and then when I go, just how it goes, man.
Yeah.
You know, because wait, they didn't read the 12 and 12 as much as they do over here. And it just happens like that.
Yeah.
And it's like, you know, you condition yourself. And you, my friend, you have the power of the same kind of disease I had for sure, where the fear of ever going back, you know, we saw the boogeyman.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's what
we hung out with the boogeyman. We were the Fifth Horseman. You know, we know what that ass whooping is like, and we're gonna toe the line. We're gonna try to figure out, even if it's being critical, we're gonna show up. And I know you're a service guy. I know that you're sponsoring guys. I know that you're shaking hands, and you're doing the things that you know that you see acceptable within the community that you're a part of, and you're just trying to be a good part of that, you know, because that's the boogeyman. The boogeyman will chase you into those corners, man.
Yeah,
big time.
A big problem I have is comparing myself to others and judging others, you know, like trying to find the balance of like, am I doing it right or like they're doing it wrong? You know, that drawing the line of it's a me problem, you know, like there's some things that come to mind where it's like the fellowship I crave. Like I can go to an area and create that fellowship, you know, like it's like now that takes a lot of time. Like I've noticed that in my moves where it's like you can't go in like a wrecking ball and just you know think that you're gonna, you know, because I've witnessed it. I've witnessed other people do that, and it's like I want to reach out my hand because I've experienced those moves where it's like just kind of like be quiet for a little bit, and then like and then kind of bring people in to say like, hey, like, you know, whatever, you know, it's easier to get things done with, what is it, like an orange than a lemon kind of deal, or whatever that saying is.
Sure.
You know?
It's easier with honey than it is lemons or whatever. But,
yeah.
You know, I think the sober ego is acquired over time, and we're proud of the work that we've done. And it's like, wait a minute, you know, we want to kind of put our foot up or you know, hold our hand up and say, wait a minute, guys, hold on a second. Something doesn't smell right, or maybe something's burning in the oven. You know what I mean? And it's like, you know, we want to just point that out, and sometimes it doesn't go very well. I am guilty.
Yeah, you are.
I am guilty as charged.
So when you go to Jacksonville and then let's say you come to Tampa from Jacksonville, when you go to a town, do you go to a bunch of meetings to see which ones you like, or what's your MO on that?
Absolutely. That's why it's 90 and 90. That's why I say 90 and 90. You gotta find the place that suits you. You know, I think. Not every single meeting is gonna, you know, you can't fit a round peg into a square hole type of deal. Like it's like, you know, I have a certain meeting that I enjoy, you know, so
certain type of meeting.
But that's even tougher when you're younger, because the social aspect of the fellowship is so critical, because it becomes your lifeblood of, you know, you don't have established families, you don't have all this other stuff. You know, and your work, you know, so
it becomes your community wherever you move to start. That's your first community when you move,
and you look for that replacement of the energy of the people, man. You know that you just need that. You know, it's camaraderie, I don't know, man. I know that I starved myself. I wanted that so bad everywhere I went, when even though I was comparing, like, Vegas meetings sucked when I moved to Vegas, and then the Vegas meetings were really good by the time I left. And then it's just that whole cycle, but I always could show up somewhere and I could recycle and plug in immediately. Great thing about the program.
There is something though too, what I've had to protect within, I'm not going to say protect, but like, I think it's important for me to remind myself that like AA for me isn't a social club, if that makes sense, because it's like, I think the friendship and the fellowship are created through doing good work, like working on myself, like, because like there's been moments where I've pushed people away in AA and I've ended up by myself,
Sure.
like, so it's like I can't have that hold my sobriety, like I have to be okay sitting with myself and like, am I doing the best I can to pack into the stream of life, kind of, that saying where it's like, am I at fault, for relationships that I've blown away,
Sure. But you're not alone. Okay.
I'm not alone. There is that, like, but I've been guilty of it. Like, I push people away, like out of protection, out of a lack of trust of others, and numerous other things. So it's like I've had to go inside and take a look at my defects and be like, what is going on? Where I'm like, why am I such full of angst against like society? That's my addiction. Like I hate institutions. If I was to be honest, like AA is an institution, and I have deep mistrust for institutions in general. Like it's like,
yeah, I think there's just a myriad of different traumas that and some of that baggage we bring in here with us, and slowly but surely, and all of our relationships. I mean, when we go through the steps, we learn, and it's always the finger at us. Like it's always, what part did I have in it? Almost 100% of the time, and then I kind of try to own whatever I'm doing, and then I get to be right about the other stuff somebody else was doing. Sometimes, or I learn how to forgive and forget and all that. But it's a slow process to acquire those skills, and it's to be happy by myself. I still need to bounce it off for other people. I need that. Yeah. I need that interaction. I'm not going to deny that I don't. It's a struggle. I mean, am I going to stay sober? Yes, but I want to be happy. Yeah. I want to find happiness in that journey.
I've had long discussions with people about like the introvert. I consider myself an introvert. But
God, I've seen you go so far. Whatever. I've seen both sides of you, brother.
Yeah, but that's like the thing. Like I still to this day, I don't, and I say the extrovert, introvert, like I don't gain energy from other people. Like I need my quiet time to be able to be like process the day, like unload all that weight. But like AA has taught me, like I do need people. Like I need people. Sure. It's life or death, Aaron type of deal where it's like, but there's like the process of like, that's why I say it's important not to view it as a social club, because if I go to a meeting and I'm only reaching out to my friends, that's bad for the meeting. I believe that's like, if I'm just hanging out in my own little circles and I'm avoiding the newcomer that walks in the door that might be disheveled and might be like down on his luck and not feeling welcome. Like if I'm not like bolting to that guy,
sure,
that it's bad for me because it's not building the community that I thoroughly believe AA has that in strength.
That's
numbers.
The beauty of the 12-step, though, man. I mean, that's the like today when our divided country with all these different things. I'm like, one of these people I totally staunchly disagree with, I may need them to help me recover from this disease that I have. Like, I better watch myself, because whether I think I'm right or whatever, I know that I may need that person to cure. I need a sick person to cure me, and that's like, wait a minute. What if this person has a different political ideology than I do? Then doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You know, that the disease of alcoholism doesn't care about any of that. It wants all of us dead. Equally, it's an equal opportunity destroyer.
Mm-hmm. It's a killer.
It is. So I'm going to reach my hand out to whoever it is. I got to be ready, man. You know?
So before we get on to Tampa.
Sorry.
Do you still... No, of course not. Sorry. What are you talking about? Talk about it. Talk all you want. I don't care. I thought you were done. You're not done. Keep talking.
No, I'm done.
All right.
Don't be sorry.
I thought you were
You're
done.
sorry.
I had a look. You gave me a look like you were done.
I'm thinking about myself and what do I belong?
That's why I had to stop you.
Maybe I don't belong here. Shit.
What I'm interested in is, do you still keep in touch with anyone from New Orleans and Jacksonville?
I don't. New Orleans was when I was sober. I moved away when I was 8 months sober. Jacksonville, that was I was on a midnight shift there, so that was kind of a dark period in my life. Like I was the closest to drinking while I was living there, but I had a sponsor. A quick story as far as I got this guy. I want to say within 4 months he got diagnosed with stage 4 cancer.
Oh,
so I watched him for that entire time go. I mean, I'm gonna say this because it's not like that. This guy, he walked with grace and dignity the entire time, and it was like. It was an amazing thing to watch. This guy, as he was diagnosed, he just had the fellowship wrap him up, and he was so loved, and it just like, and he had the strength to proceed with that, and he used the network that he had to talk to people that had already struggled with cancer, and like there was miracles that happened within that like to watch him go through that. It was amazing. It was a gift. It's a gift of my sobriety to watch this man that like lived a wonderful life and died sober. You know,
it helped you probably appreciate every day a little bit more because you saw a guy facing the end still make his life about every day.
Service for others.
Every day. Yeah,
service for others.
Yeah, like and that's admirable as can be.
Less about him, more about like what can I give back. You know, and he, you know, he was still taking meetings into detox when he was, you know, chemo and until I mean, you know, there was things that he had to back away, but it was just like, God bless that dude. Like, what did you do? Like,
wow.
Yeah. So he was a role model, and even when I moved to Tampa, like I moved in 2019, August of 2019, so it was like 6 months before COVID happened. Mm-hmm. I still kept him because how long? I mean, he lived for a long time, so I kept him as my sponsor because it was a difficult time. COVID happened, like meetings kind of like somewhat disappeared. A lot of the old timers disappeared. So it was like somebody, you know, I had moved here like probably 4 years sober. So I was trying to get a sponsor, but it was like, damn, like, dude, this guy I know already. Like, he knows my backstory. I don't have to go, you know.
Yeah.
So then it was Chris.
What?
Yeah.
Well, how did that come about?
So there was a meeting I attended in Tampa, and I was asking around, like, who would you pick? Who would you pick? You know, to my buddies at this point. Like, I had a few buddies that I had formed, and so I was trying to do like a survey, like who would you do? And this guy came up. So it was it was what I needed at the time. You know, I was desperate because it was like I knew that sponsor was still living at that time, I believe.
Yeah.
So it was one of those things where I knew I had to kind of step it up and get a local sponsor because it's important for me to get a local person, somebody that's seeing me interact and you know.
And it was an honor. I mean, I'm going to be honest with you. Adam and I became really good friends.
I was going to ask you, what when you first saw Adam, what were your thoughts? What were your, tell me how it went.
I wanted him to get a haircut at the time.
I had really long hair.
Yeah.
And a beard, a long-ass beard, long hair.
He was a hooligan. I mean, he was definitely a hippie. You know, he was, I don't know. I was worried about his sobriety. But, no, Adam was, was a ball of energy, and we became great friends. He came to my wedding in Italy, you know.
Wow.
And I'm going to tell you right now, man, because I needed some fucking people there to help me.
Yeah.
And
Because your wife's family parties their balls off.
We had 50 people show up to Italy to go to this wedding, and
how many of you were sober?
And he
Two
was
of you?
like, he really almost took the role of like a best man. You know what I mean? Like he was there, man, and I just needed that support. I had my son as my best man. He was my kid. He was a kid. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So he wasn't really up to that. And then I had a couple people kind of like surrogate best man. But Adam was a rock star, and you know, so I always, you know, I told him, man, we're family. You know, you're in the family. So whatever all that other stuff does, family gets along, don't get along, we have differences, doesn't matter. You're family. You know what I mean? So you're like my brother.
You're in the wedding photos.
Yes.
Yeah.
A lot of them.
Yeah. I gave him a lot of shit because every time I went to get a fucking picture, Adam was in it. So I know I think he thought I was busting. I busted his balls pretty good. But you know, the wedding was amazing and the trip was amazing. It was a trip of a lifetime. And we definitely had some great adventures. And in the recovery aspect, you know, he was doing the deal, he was working the program, and he was doing a lot of service stuff. And I was like, you know, getting this new marriage, this new life. And so, you know, I know that my attention, and I was just dealing with the loss of my father. And so I had a lot of stuff on my plate. And, you know, I needed, like, it was kind of weird, you know, sometimes this program you're giving, sometimes you're receiving, you know, and you have to put your ego down, you know, and your pride and whatever. It doesn't matter how long you've been sober. Sometimes you just have to circle yourself with some brothers, some winners. And one thing I do know about Adam, I knew he was going to stay sober, and I knew he was going to do the work. You know what I mean? So that, to me, like, I'm getting from him and this guy and that guy. And I've always been that way. I take, you know, as a chef, you learn how to pick up this guy's little jam over here, what makes him special, you put that in your back pocket. So I feel like Adam gave me something with our relationship, you know, that I can put in my pocket. I put in my soup. Yeah. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I season my gumbo with that. And that's just, I think that's the beauty of this recovery journey, is all the different people that we're exposed to. You know, I'm going to take something from, you know, I've already taken some leadership stuff from you, Greg, and, you know, and this guy that spoke tonight, everyone that's on this podcast, I try to take something that I can improve myself with, this flawed human being. So that's, you know, that's one of the.
Well, so Adam, when you first started working with Chris, or you saw Chris and they were like, he should be, what were you thinking? How did it go for you?
It was just that. I mean, thank you for all the kind words. It was a pleasure. It was, you know, I went through the process. We went through the process quickly. Nothing was different as far as working the steps.
How long had you been in Tampa before you became a sponsee for Primo?
Timeline.
6-9 months.
Maybe something like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're still talking to your old sponsor, who's unfortunately he's ill.
Yes.
So you needed a new one. You asked some guys. So 6-9 months. You got good friends here by then.
Yeah.
Sure. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
And then I picked Chris up, and we went through the book like you know what I'm used to.
We had 2 or 3 guys. I had 2 or 3 guys at the same time.
Yes. Yeah.
So you had Tyler.
Yeah.
And you, Tyler, and Dennis was already done.
There might have been one other. Me and Tyler were the ones that stuck through, I believe.
I think when there was a fallout.
Yes.
There was
statistics.
It happens.
Hey, we stayed sober, right?
That's right.
Yep.
Yeah. Now, were these the ones that were going at Guy King's place after the meeting, or no?
He didn't go to Guy King. He knew Guy King. But no, Guy was like, he was the pinch hitter. Like, if I had somebody that was totally locked up and I couldn't help him, I would call in the right-hander.
Bring in the right-hander?
Yeah. I need a reliever.
Strong arm.
Yeah, I need a reliever here to throw a few strikes, and he was great at it. You know, and I don't know, but you know, in Tampa, there's a great network and community of a lot of guys. He got involved with the golf tournament, and you know, and just a lot of different things, man. And I think it's you You know, so in my recovery journey, I've had a lot of sponsors. Okay, I had one for a long time, and but I've had a lot of different people, and I feel it's important that you continually grow. You know what I mean? And you get what you can. And if you can do better than, this is a self-centered, selfish disease. You need to go get what you need to get.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And Adam is on a trajectory of, he's growing a new family. He wants this career, and he's really heavily involved in service, which is not a big, I feel like, I've done my time with the GSR and the other stuff. It's like,
well, correction, I was involved in general service.
Oh.
I it kind of have.
Oh, you passed it on?
I passed it on. Yes,
and that's what you should do. Yeah, that's
spirit of rotation.
That's good though.
I pursued it. I did, some other responsibilities within general service, and I see the value in it. It's something that's very time consuming, and a lot of different personalities. A lot of different personalities, and it was. I came here recently. It was just like, I'm a sit down, read a book with a guy, kind of.
Yeah.
I mean, for now, we'll see.
You can be right or you can be happy.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's that.
Yeah.
And that's what service, but the commitment itself,
repetitive,
and somebody has to do it.
Yeah. And that's why I admire it. I mean,
Yep.
there's a lot of people that are just stuck like on glue, and they climb and they go all these different positions, and it's not something, maybe when I retire, because it's very time consuming, in my opinion. It's you can make a living out of it, or not a living, because
I
it's
see a lot of the older guys have a lot of these service commitments because, I guess, they're not really working anymore. So I kind of think the same as you. Like, I could certainly see when I retire taking on more, because I value the program. I know that it saved my life. I want to help save others. And when I have, as I get a little older, I just want to keep taking on more. I see you're probably the same way, but you've already done some. Now you're passing it on. You mentioned earlier in our conversation, like a 2-year cycle. You said that, right? Like every 2 years, or is when you, is that a AA thing? Is taking a GSRP
yes.
job for 2 years?
It's a 2
That's a
year
commitment.
cycle.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
That's what I thought.
That's what the limit, or the
It's like a governor.
Right.
Yeah. The one thing that the positive that I would say with it, like, because I had been, it's not general service, but like for a long time, I had always been in committees. Like, there's a young person committee that I was involved in probably for 3-4 years in my early sobriety.
Yeah.
Then I transitioned in like general service.
Freaky paw.
So yes, if there's so many paws. Wow, or what is it? Paw. Wah. Yeah. But what I would say with all of those commitments, like the important part that I pulled from that is like the importance of the traditions. That's why I heavily value it, because once you're starting to talk about business at mass scale that could affect AA as a whole, the traditions become guardrails.
Yep.
And that's where it's like the experience of that. I suggest anybody that has the time or whatever it takes to do general service, if you want to see traditions and concepts in action, go into that. And because that's like, it helps me at the group level now of like why we do what we do.
Sure.
And the importance of like, why
it's the why it works.
Yeah. It's why the group stays together. Like the steps were just for my personal recovery. When it got to the traditions, now it's like, how do I interact with the group? Like,
right.
How do I keep the group together and not insert my own will, and like, how do you trust God into that process? And like, like there's a thing that I reference all the time, but it's the tradition too, where it's the elder statesman, bleeding deacon type of mentality, where it's like, how do I practice being, not the saying I'm an elder statesman, but like, how do I practice like the quiet wisdom? Like, how do I just sit there and be like, you guys run amok, and like, if I am that true quiet wisdom, they will look to me. You know, I don't need to be seen. You know, like that's that vibe of like I don't want to be seen. I don't want to be heard. You know,
the flowing robe and the staff.
Yeah,
and the
and you see that in general service. You see the people that are striving for power and control, and it's like, so you see examples of that, and it's like that's not important to me. Like the important part is like less of me, more God, and like it'll work. It's the mentality of like self-cleaning oven. AA is a self-cleaning oven.
Sure.
You know, you let time go, and man, it's amazing how it works.
Yeah, I can tell you one thing. It's going to be okay.
Yeah.
It's not going anywhere. I told him about, you know, our home group has a tradition meeting, 7 a.m. tradition meeting.
Wednesdays.
No, listen. If you're a newcomer and you go to a 7 a.m. tradition meeting, it counts as 3 meetings.
Oh.
Okay. He loves to say that.
Yeah. I call BS on that.
Well, I used to say that.
You tell that all the newcomers.
If I go to this meeting, I can only go to one a week.
Yeah.
But the why it works is so important. And I have a lot of respect. You know, early on, like with the Fricky Paw and the young people, there's always this
Ficky
really
Paw.
Yeah, Ficky Paw, whatever. You guys keep
There might be a Fricky Paw out
You
there.
guys
There's so
keep
many
rearranging
paws
letters, I know,
Yeah,
but whatever.
yeah.
So I think that at some point there was something about I was at a young people's convention, and I was young at the time, and they said that they were passing the torch onto us, and that we had an obligation, a responsibility to this thing that saved people's lives, and that I took it to heart. You know, like, you know what, they told me 1 in 38 people were gonna make it when I first got sober. Like only 1 in 38 people can even get sober.
But if it's anonymous, how do they have that stat? That's what I always say.
Yeah, well, they told me that, and you know what? I was like, all right, you know, I'm gonna do this, and
You'll be the 1 out of 38. I hear you.
Well,
yeah, I mean that kind of gave me a little bit of a resentment.
And the amazing part for me on that is like we are the lucky few, right? Where it's like it's hard to get sober. It's hard to stay sober, and it's the gift of like treating it as it is, as a gift. You know, like I only have today. I know for me, it's like I'm guaranteed to drink. You know, if I don't take it as a daily process and work it, you know, that's where the traditions come in too. You know, where it's like I'm just a cog in the wheel. You know.
Are you still going to the same meetings in Tampa?
I switch them up on occasion. I mean, my home group has been my home group for a while, like probably 4 years. But like to keep it fresh and keep it new, I sometimes still to this day, like I'll go to random meetings in, you know, far distant places to kind of like in the local area ish. And I'll just show up by myself.
You should come to a 7 a.m.
just to
tradition
see
meeting
how
over
It's
here.
too early.
Yeah.
Too early.
just to see how other meetings are run
And just to be a part of the group without being a part of the group kind of deal. You know,
Right.
It's just like being truly anonymous in a meeting. That's kind of cool to me. You know,
you're almost like a newcomer.
Yeah.
Like if they don't know, like if you came into our meeting, our home group meeting, and nobody knew you, we would assume you're probably a newcomer and maybe read how it works or start from scratch or
we pass around a meeting list with some phone numbers on it.
phone numbers.
Tell them to keep coming back.
But it is also interesting going to these meetings where it's like, how do they interact with the newcomers? Like I've done that a couple times where I show up to meetings, and it's like, I mean, hopefully I look put together enough to where it's like I'm not fresh and new, but like if that's the case, then so be it. You're
right. There are some disheveled. Yeah,
we should do like this undercover boss type thing and go in like dirty and stuff. Just see, hey, and things like, hold on a minute, I'm so and so sober guy, and you guys are doing it wrong.
Right.
No.
I'm Bill W.'s great grandson. I've been in this program since I was born.
Shame on you guys over here.
But there's
shame.
There's a level of like humility. Not that I'm saying I'm like, but like just showing up and being who you are, and like then practicing the fear that takes to walk into a room that you don't know anybody, and like how do you it's a social experiment to me at that point. You know, like let me see if I can figure this out. You know, being awkward and.
But take something from it, man, and put it in your back pocket.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Put it in your spice bag.
Yeah.
That's the cool thing, is just the exploration of ideas and thoughts and people and experiences and emotions. You know, and then sometimes you run across some pearls of like, you really look at somebody like, damn. You're like, you see somebody like, I really, really enjoyed what that person had to say or the way they said it. You know, there's always this cool thing that you can it's just like unwrapping something new.
Yeah.
You know, if you look at it from that perspective, you know, I try to look at like there's something I'm gonna get. You know, there's something I can pull
Or give.
or give. Yes, there is the giving.
That's the more practice for me, is that like what can I give back?
Right.
You know, that's I don't know. It's something that's like. You know, I can't show up to meetings and say what, like, I'm just doing this for I could hopefully say I'm gonna stay sober without a meeting. You know, like, I pray to God that that's the case, because there's life that comes up. Like, I can't. We're very lucky in Tampa, and this is where I kind of understand that, like, there's certain areas that are very limited on meetings.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so like, how do you practice those principles when, like, you might have to travel 45 minutes to get to a meeting, and that's like the only meeting you know around. You know, that's like some of the I've traveled for work a little bit, and you go to some of these rural areas, and it's woo, you know, like especially in like the Bible Belt region, which I you know, there was something as far as spirituality is for the people that have seen hell, religions for people that believe in heaven or something like that. But like, you go to the Bible Belt region, and the tradition of, like, you know, your own denomination might not be practiced in every meeting. They're autonomous; they can do whatever they like.
Right.
But that's not the AA that I practice, because it's important for me to be all inclusive to whatever you believe. I don't care. I mean, that was a hard set thing for me when I was first getting sober. Was like, I didn't believe in God. Call it an agnostic or whatever, but like, if I believed you had like God or some other name attached to it, I would cringe, I would judge you, and it would be like, dude, get out of here. This is you know, God is your own definition, higher power, you know. So that's where it's like, the acceptance for me is like, I can accept those types today as they are. I'm no longer, I don't feel like I'm bothered by that today, as long as you're not. The protection of AA, and that's where it's like the traditions and all that stuff is like, there is a sense of, I am the carrier of the torch. You know, as I get sober and stay sober, it's like, to pass that on to another person is not as like an objective of like, I'm right, you're wrong, because it's like, when I approach it as like, I'm right, like, dude, I usually end up on my ass, because that's like, I don't think that's the program. You know,
sure. Well, there's
the program is experiential.
Yeah, but it's written in a way where it says, as we understand him.
Yeah.
And it's allowing for people to find a solution in a way that their ears can handle.
Yeah.
You know, there's definitely some recovery that wouldn't work for me, and my recovery may not work for anybody else either. But it's working for me in a way, and hopefully, you know, I just think it's a shapeshifter. You know what I mean? It's written for the rationalizing person that's looking for an excuse. And sometimes, and the biggest one is always God. Oh no, you know, I can't go there. And next thing you know, they're drunk. Some of them die because of it.
Yeah.
And that was the brilliant rationale that I feel they wrote in there to allow people not to have that excuse.
Well, if they had defined it in the program for me, like, that would have been a quick escape, but instead they didn't define it. And it was like, what I found over time is like, I have created my own definition, and I consider myself heavily spiritual today, because it's like, I go to a meeting, and for me it lies just in helping another alcoholic. Like, you see the process of like this hopeless, helpless, disheveled alcoholic, and like, those people that I've seen walk in, they're some of my greatest friends today, and like pillars of the community type of joke, where it's like, dude, like, that's a stand-up guy. And like, there's a lot of those types where I I would not say that to them or say that about them early on. But like that's where I've seen the miracle happen. Is like, dude, like please if you follow what's laid out in front of you, you have all like that's where the statistics come in. It's like don't even trust that. You do what you do if you're honest, willing, and open-minded to this opportunity that you have. Like you're gonna blow the statistics out of the water. It's like
right.
there is no statistics in this. That's where it's like where my definition of God has come from. Is like, dude, there's things that I see that are just like you can't say that this is real. Like this, like how things line up and like how we go out of our way to go pick up a newcomer that, is it things aren't adding up, but God protects us in those moments when you're like doing a 12-step call and it's like we just show up and like and the situation's horrible, but like
but dude, you know what's interesting? So you're a say yes guy. When anybody anywhere asks for help, you're a yes guy, and you know what? There's the
responsibility statement.
Absolutely. Yeah. So over time,
big thing in general service.
yeah, do it. But over time, doing this enough, okay, and the reward you start reaping the reward of that, and you're explaining it, but you have to kind of experience, and then it becomes a spiritual, like it's a spiritual awakening that happens. I believe it's an awakening.
Yeah, no doubt.
Because we're not wired that way. We're selfish and self-centered. We're doing it begrudgingly. And now it's like, man, I need to score some humility and I need to go help somebody because damn it, I know what now it's almost selfish. We want that stuff because the reward is like, it's immeasurable compared to.
And the spiritual awakening isn't like an end, like that's where it's like for me, it's like been numerous times. If I think that like there's an end point or a check mark around the spiritual awakening, like I will live I can be refunded. I can be refunded my misery if I think that like what I can live on is resting on my laurels, like that, because it did, and I think this is a gift that I had in my sobriety it was slow drip, and it's still slow drip. Like I don't have these euphoric moments that of like these white lights. Like I don't want that.
No, but it's the path to freedom and happiness. Okay, and it requires work, but it's the path, and it's like okay, I got a taste. And all this other stuff I want to do, maybe I want to go out and buy myself a toy, or I want to do some other thing that kind of just gives me these temporary, fills that void. Nothing fills the void like that. You know what I mean? All that other stuff is just, I guess, gratis, But when you do the work, it's time and a half, baby. Time and a half. I worked it in there.
Yeah,
you love it.
Yeah,
you love it.
Speaking of time and a half,
that hour flew unbelievably quick. Adam, you've shared so much great stuff with us tonight. Is there something that you would like to leave with the listeners, or do you have a final take or something that you just like to?
No,
man,
no.
Just show up.
Just show up.
Yeah.
Just show up. That's about all I got. Yeah,
you got a lot.
Suit up and show up, baby.
Suit up, showed up.
Say yes.
Yeah.
And say yes. Yep. Yeah. Well, if you're having a tough time quitting, whatever it is you need to quit, you're not alone. There's apps and numbers and groups in your town, or you could call us if you want. Leave us a message, 727-239-8587. Hit us up on Facebook. Taking that first step into a room or a chat or a group with people trying to get better, just like you, will be the best day of your life. Primo, what's your final point for tonight's show?
I'm actually struggling with the final point tonight. Find people you identify with. Stick with the winners.
Stick with the winners.
Sticking with the winners is really key, and be open-minded, to all principles and concepts. Have an open mind and learn how to be honest with yourself, and live this life. This cat is, it may be a little humble with his approach, but I know this cat is living a great life, and he does it. He has what I would call zeal. There's a little word in the book called zeal. It's very hard to find, but he has a zeal for life. I think it's cool.
Nice. Well, this program will give you that zeal. Well, thanks for listening to Sober Shenanigans. Real talk and real recovery. Worry, anxiety, and fear, it's all up in here. So give yourself a break. You're enough, and you're doing great. I'm Stoff, and he's Primo. And remember, no drinks today.
We're all in the same boat, fellas.
But our shenanigans are cheeky and fun.
Yeah, I mean, his shenanigans are cruel and tragic.
Which makes them not shenanigans at all, really. Evil shenanigans.
I swear to God, I'll pistol whip the next guy that says shenanigans.
Shenanigans! After all that, shenanigans! Shenanigans! Shenanigans!
What's all this?
Officer Bob Brady, I would like to reinstate my previous shenanigans. This whole carnival is a ripoff.
Excuse me, but I agree. These rides are really stupid. Chamber of Farts isn't scary at all. Okay, let's calm down. People of South Park, do you declare shenanigans on the carnival people?
Yeah!
Okay, carnival people, do you accept this decree of shenanigans?
What the hell are you talking about? This old town is screwy.
Well, that settles it. Everybody grab a broom. It's shenanigans!